All right, what's up, my brothers? In this video, we're going to be reacting to this Sadia Khan clip where she talks about rich men getting cheated on more than, I guess, the average man. So I've got some context around this one to add, so let's just play the clip.
And that's why rich men get cheated on more.
Rich men get cheated on more. Now, this is a topic.
Because here's what happens. Like I said to you, to be hyper successful, you have to be very logical, not very emotional, super busy. Therefore, you need a woman who's not requiring that much emotional investment, doesn't mind that you're busy. Those women who don't look for emotional connection look for financial investment. They are not going to be emotionally loyal to you.
So she's saying that rich men get cheated on more because they don't have the time to create an emotional connection with the woman, and she goes looking for that somewhere else. Just to sort of clarify a few things before we get into the rich men getting cheated on more component of this video. I think Sadia is actually quite good. I've seen a few of her videos now, and she's got some awareness around her. I think one of the cool things about her, though, is that she's very feminine, but she's very authoritative in the way that she communicates a lot of these notions and ideas in the podcast interviews that she does. And I'm actually hoping to try to book her on because I want to dive into some of these concepts. They're very, very interesting. But what she's talking about is cheating in general. And I think men and women cheat. Well, they definitely cheat for different reasons. But generally speaking, for women, when they cheat, it's because they're generally out when they check out, if they have an emotional connection to a man. If they don't have an emotional connection to a man and they're just about the money part of it, because as they say, there's two major dating strategies that women tend to use, when they're out there, and they usually look for either the alpha seed or the beta need component of it. Ideally, they want both. They would love a tall, virtuous, masculine alpha male that can make shit happen, that can make it rain, can put it down in the universe, influential, very funny, all that sort of stuff, and has financial resources. But women aren't always able to get that in the same guy. And I think what she's talking about over here in this clip, which again, it's just a clip, so let's just take the context of the clip itself, is that these guys get cheated on because these women are selecting them because there's no emotional connection. It's just strictly, what is it? It's just financial. That's all that it boils down to at the end of the day. So because they're only getting their financial needs met by these goofy rich men, is what we'll call them, because there are different kinds of guys with wealth, which I'll get into in a second, but these are just goofy guys that are basically leading with their wallet. And I think one of the worst things you can do as a dude is lead with your wallet. If you're gonna open with, hey, I'm successful and I've got lots of money, and that's where the relationship starts, then that's why she signed up. She's looking for the cash. She's looking for the financial resources. She's looking to be taken care of, and that's not gonna be an option. Now, I'm going to say this. I do a lot of private consults. It's one of the things I've been doing for years. And a lot of the guys that I end up dealing with are mostly, just because of my rate, but they're mostly very, very successful entrepreneurs. I deal with some athletes, in fact, in some cases, and some other public personalities. And a lot of these guys are super successful, like not 6 or 7 figure guys, but like 7, 8, and a few cases 9-figure guys. These guys that are unplugged and not beta males, like the vast majority of the guys that she's talking about are going to be plugged in betas. They're going to be the guys that are just like, look at me, I'm loaded, I have a jet, here's my private whatever, I've got a boat or several boats, and that's what they lead with. And they get into these relationships leading with that. There's no emotional connection. They really don't know how to connect with a woman, to own her heart, if you will. Because when a unplugged alpha sort of character gets involved with a woman that has money, the guys that I've dealt with, the guys with cash, they never get cheated on, right? When you've got your head squared away and you know what women respond to and what they love and what they hate, obviously, they know how to get results out of life. They know how to get women sticky to them. They know how to get women emotionally invested in them. And they also know how to set boundaries that don't put the relationship at any kind of risk. A very successful rich guy that has no game, that's a plugged in beta, will more than likely just nod his head and be like, yeah, that's okay. If you want to go to Ibiza for the weekend with your girlfriends, cool, I'll fuel up the jet and you can take your girlfriends. The guys that I deal with, the unplugged alphas that have cash, they have boundaries, healthy boundaries, set around the relationship so that it doesn't end up in an environment or a scenario where the relationship gets put at risk and he's the kind of guy that gets betrayed by her. There's actually a difference between betraying and cheating. Men cheat, women betray. They're two different things. A A lot of the times people like to say, oh, men and women are the same and they're all equal and all this sort of stuff. That's not the case at all. In fact, we're very, very different, and men and women go outside of relationships for different reasons. Sometimes guys just go out of the relationship because they're bored, or they want some variety, they want something new. When women leave or they go out of the relationship, it's because they're missing something. And oftentimes, it's because they're out. Now, in scenarios where loaded guys get cheated on, betrayed, it's usually because he's not doing anything except for this. So why wouldn't she go out looking for more of this, if you know what I'm saying? Because there's some alpha out there that may not have any kind of money or financial resources that can take care of that itch, but he doesn't have this to take care of that itch. He's doing this, not this. So women will and have found that they can get both of those things in two different guys. And that's why a lot of these rich guys that she's talking about often get cheated on more than the average guy. Because the average guy will emotionally invest, they form a strong connection. A lot of the guys will, do a lot more than just lead with their wallet. Because they have to. Guys that have cash are often very comfortable and okay with leading with their wallet. It's not that big of a deal with them. I've seen lots of very successful rich guys go through the divorce machine, lose a significant portion of their cash, of their wealth, and they're fine. A few years later, they just double it back or quadruple it back because they figure these things out. It's not that difficult for them to get to those points. But it's incredibly important to understand that you have to protect yourself because women can be mischievous. They can behave in underhanded ways. Don't think just because you've got cash, there's not some other guy out there that can scratch your itch. Money isn't the end-all, be-all with women. There's this, too. And a lot of guys forget about that, or they don't do that properly. And then these gals go out and they wander, right? To get a woman to stick to you, to commit to you, to invest in you, to invest in that relationship requires more than just spending money on her, sending her on nice trips and buying her nice clothes or giving her, a credit card and allowance. There's lots of older loser dorks out there that have loads of cash that just lead with their wallet, and that's all they ever get. They just get used for their wallet, which is not where you want to be. Being used for your financial resources, I would argue, is probably the worst thing ever. In chapter 3 in my book, I talk about why genuine burning desire matters in a relationship and why you should be paying very, very close attention to it. Most guys are unaware of it, and it's simple. Just read The Unplugged Alpha. The book is pinned below in the top comment if you're newer to the channel, and understand what genuine burning desire is. I'll also put up a video on the top right where I talk about this concept. I did this many, many years ago on my channel before I even published the book, and I still believe it is one of the most important videos I've ever recorded and one of the most important concepts that guys must understand. Because again, if you lead with your wallet, if you just lead with your money, you don't have any game, you don't know how to set boundaries, you don't know how to get her to emotionally invest in you in the relationship, then chances are you could be betrayed by a woman that you financially invest in that you think is sufficient to keep her around because you just did the right thing. Remember, they tell men and women very different things when it comes to doing the right thing. They tell guys, do the right thing. They tell women, you do what's right for you, girl. So this is why you'll get women in scenarios where financial resources can become available, are very important to women, of course, because, money makes the world go around. They say everything in the world is about sex except for sex. Sex is about power, but money is an integral component of all of those things. So make sure you understand the game. Make sure that you have her invest with genuine burning desire in that relationship. And that's not something that you can manufacture. Like, you can't do A, B, C, and D and then genuine burning desire is there. Genuine burning desire it starts with genuine for a reason. There's a reason why that word is in GBD. It's an acronym now that a lot of guys that are very familiar with the content use. But the G part of it, the genuine part of it, is genuine. It's not manufactured. It's not purchased. It's not bought. It's organic. And a woman can only have organic and genuine desire for you if you're the guy that can pull that out of her. Men that pull genuine desire out of women are incredible. They are a hot commodity on the sexual marketplace. They have access to, well, let's just put it this way. They're generally spoiled for choice. And it's a lot of the reasons why a lot of these top shelf men, and we're not just talking about rich men, because there's a difference between rich men and top shelf men. There's lots of guys out there with money that are just dorks. There's lots of guys out there with money that might have inherited it, that don't have any game, that have always led with money. There's lots of women that will go after that guy just because he's got the financial resources and it looks good and it's protective. So in some cases, they'll even have children with him. but they'll still go and get the other itch, scratch this somewhere else. And that's why you get the betrayals. That's why you get what she's talking about, which happens commonly because most guys are plugged in beta males. Most rich, successful guys that I know from the realm of entrepreneurship where I traveled in for many, many years, like I said in other videos, and I'll mention it again, I was part of EO Toronto. I know loads and loads of entrepreneurs that I've met at events, at conferences, at learning gigs. I've sat at tables with Vern Harnish and other entrepreneurs chopping up ideas, and the vast majority of them are plugged in beta males. They are the kind of guys that have a great business, that make loads of money, they're doing something significant. It's almost surprising to me at this point, having unplugged from all this crap, how many guys that are so successful that are still plugged in beta males. It is a pandemic. It is a condition that many women can take advantage of, and do take advantage of, and do betray these men and use them for their financial resources, because that's all they're there for. And that's all they had to lead with, because it's the only game that they got. When you have more game than just your wallet, that's when you start to generate GBD, genuine burning desire. That's when you start to generate a strong connection. That's when she becomes very sticky with you and is unlikely to stray or wander outside of the relationship, because you basically won her heart over. When you win her heart over, when she has GBD for you, other men essentially become invisible. It's not that they become like, you know, the actual invisible men to her, but they're essentially invisible to her. She doesn't notice them because she has the best that she can have, right? This is what hypergamy is. This little box in their hindbrain. It's not a real box, obviously, but you know, we're just using this as an example. Little box in her hindbrain that has to get ticked off, where she gets up in the morning and she looks at the guy and she goes, oh yeah, that guy's the best that I can do. He's awesome. That's what you want. Don't lead with your wallet. I mean, demonstrate competency, demonstrate that you're successful, demonstrate that you've got access to resources. These things matter. And why should you hide them? There's a lot of people that say, oh, you're only going to get gold diggers if you let them know that you've got money. No, because you can keep them at arm's length. You can say, no, I don't want to invite you in my life. No, you're a headache. No, I don't want you to be my girlfriend or my wife, right? You have those choices. So don't think that, you know, exposing them to your wealth is only going to invite gold diggers. All women like financial resources, okay? Even humble, practical women still like financial resources. Given the choice, an average 5 that isn't a purported gold digger will actually be in a position to admire and love a guy and fall for the genuine burning desire attachment style when he's the right guy there for her, right? It's as simple as that. So yeah, do they get cheated on more? I would say yes, but it's not because they're rich. They're not getting cheated on because they're rich. They're getting cheated on because they're plugged in beta male dorks that allow themselves to get used and think that women are all going to fall for them when they lead with their wallet and they just do the right thing. Remember, they just do the right thing. They think it's the right way to go about things, and they think they got them hook, line, and sinker, but they only got them for that time. Okay, they only love them at that moment. It's not very permanent. It's not very sticky, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, what I'd like you guys to do, leave a comment below. Let me know what your experience is. Let me know if I'm right or wrong in the comments. Thumbs up. Pinned in the top comment below is a bunch of stuff that I'm affiliated with. Obviously my book, if you haven't read it, read it. My supplement line, if you need to book me for coaching. A whole bunch of other useful stuff, including my community. Check it out. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.